speaking of being on top and being hated, we definitely should probably talk about this Shane Dawson shit, don't you think?
I don't even know who Shane Dawson is.
There you go.
Up a lot about it too.
I'm going to educate AD today about the real, true white culture that me and Kim live inside.
I don't claim that.
I'm about to say, Cam, don't claim that.
I'm not claiming that.
You are very much in the gray area. That must be nice. Okay, I'm gonna just explain this to the best of my ability, because sometimes like you can really begin to understand something by teaching. Also, shout out to this dog falling asleep with this fucking dummy head on the table.
Yeah, he's been mean mugging me the whole time. I don't think Cam Girl's dog likes me. He does?
Move this. I want people to be able to really get a nice shot there. Why is he shaking?
If I was high, I'd be mad.
They shake in their dreams. Wow. Like he's having a dream right now.
He having a dream about R&B.
Probably. Usher.
Okay, so basically there's a YouTuber oh my God, I'm trying to figure out how far back I want to go.
Wait, is this the motherfucker that did the Willow shit?
Yes.
Disgusting.
So basically, Shane Dawson, I'll just start with Shane Dawson. Shane Dawson is a YouTuber. He's been huge on the platform for forever. He's just always been huge. People didn't even know he was gay for a long time. He had like girlfriends publicly or whatever. Over time, he ended up coming out of the closet. His content over the last couple of years, people would say is really, really good. Like he kind of pioneered the whole like art form of basically just making these like super in-depth sort of documentary type pieces about different people in the YouTube community, etc. And he's really sort of like become one of the main faces of what YouTube is over the past however many years. But then it basically came out that, okay, there's another YouTube makeup guy named James Charles. And last year, almost exactly 1 year ago, there was a huge controversy where basically James Charles was accused by this woman in the makeup industry named Tati Westbrook. He was accused of basically being a predator, creeping on young boys and stuff, which seemed pretty crazy because
and
at that time, James Charles was, I think, 18 or maybe 19.
And a virgin.
And still a virgin. So, I mean, that always seemed kind of weird, like how much of a predator he could possibly be at like 18 or whatever. But basically over the last year or whatever, it's come out that people were basically saying that the Shane Dawson guy basically put the battery in this Tati Westbrook girl's back to do a video exposing James Charles. Charles, to his credit, basically most of those accusations came out to not really have much merit, and he really kind of like beat the whole thing, and it seems like he's pretty popular again. But so basically, Shane Dawson put out a big statement basically indicting the entire makeup community and basically saying like, this is the most drama-filled community. Like, you guys are so fucked up. It's so fucked up how you would like tear people down and rah, rah, rah. That letter that he posted caused a huge percentage of the beauty community, the makeup community, to then start digging through all of Shane Dawson's old videos, and they found basically like every offensive joke he ever made, every offensive thing he ever did, and they already knew some basic stuff. They already knew that he had like worn blackface for fucking old music videos or whatever, like a million years ago, whatever. There's other like things that he had done that was seen as creepy or whatever, but they ended up basically finding all kinds of different stuff that just, you know, a lot of it seems really, really bad. Like I've seen an Instagram photo where he's like with like a kid and he's like, I love this kid. Like this, like basically like, I think I might become a pedophile.
Oh, God. He made so many of those jokes.
And like he made so many jokes that were basically the joke.
Why wasn't he canceled a long time ago?
Because back then, this was YouTube at the time. And I feel like a lot of people are sort of like intentionally ignorant about the fact that the climate was completely different and that a lot of these jokes, like this is the thing, millions of people saw those jokes like at the time.
But wait, when did he do those podcasts though? Because I feel like that wasn't too long ago, right?
What were the podcast clips?
He did Shane and
Look at the
Friends.
dog looking at me.
Shane and Friends podcast, and I feel like it wasn't that long ago.
But what did he do that was offensive on those?
Weird ass, more pedophile shit.
Really?
Yes,
a
lot.
There's been so much stuff that's been kind of hard to keep an eye on it. And just when you thought that the canceling of Shane Dawson was going to maybe slow up a bit, all of a sudden you got the Smith family coming for him because they found that one clip where...
That's disgusting, though.
But my thing is, I want to know what that whole clip is like because they just cut it down to like 3 seconds of him making like the jerking off motion, looking at the little girl.
If that was my daughter, I would be pissed.
I want to know what the joke he was trying to make there was because I'm assuming that it wasn't like, oh, hey, like I actually...
But wasn't this Willow when Willow was underage?
Yeah, she's like 11 on the wall.
Okay, then that's disgusting. Yeah. Why would you even play around like that?
It's a weird
piece of shit. Really
weird, you a bitch.
But you see how people like just take it at face value, they strip it of any context, and they say, look, this is offensive. But when I say, I want to see the context, I want to see exactly what that full clip was like, I mean, like to you, like that in itself, wanting to see the context, wanting to see the greater
daughter,
overall
so it's
picture,
different.
right? But it shouldn't be different. We're trying to judge the offensiveness of a joke, and if the joke was really that offensive, you should want to see the context. You should want to see the full picture.
I
but
found-
what was
look
shown-
at your reaction. You need to do a
what
little
was
self-examination
shown-
here.
what was shown
Why do
wasn't
you not want to
disgusting.
see the greater context? Because you want to be offended.
I don't want to be offended.
But then why wouldn't you want to see the greater context? Because clearly, if millions of people saw it when it came out, it can't have been that offensive at the time.
I have a 11-year-old daughter. If
Right.
somebody,
But you don't need to have a daughter to be offended by somebody making that joke. You know?
Period. Okay, you have a kid on the way right now, right? If you see an 11-year-old girl, first of all, if this nigga been making pedophile jokes at the end of the day, you don't do that in front of an 11-year-old girl's picture at the end of the day. That shit ain't cool at all.
Right, but you've made a ton of offensive jokes, I could assume, throughout your life. I know I certainly have.
What offensive jokes I said?
I don't know, but I'm just saying that there's a ton of jokes that I guarantee you made in 2010 that if we were to take them and clip the beginning and clip the end and put it out there and say, this is what AD is all about. Look at this thing he said. It would completely misrepresent you as a person.
Probably.
Why do you not extend the same sympathy to him and
But
assume
you just said years he's been doing pedophile type stuff.
it was
So this
humor,
is not a
though,
one-time
but at
thing.
the time, but this is the thing. You have to understand. He had millions of subscribers who thought this was funny.
Were
at
they
the
mostly
time.
white people?
Probably large.
All right then.
Because I felt the same way about the situation as well. Because I thought, not that I want to see the whole video, but like, okay, he could be making a really weird, bad joke. And like at that time, people weren't as
Yeah, they weren't as sensitive.
No,
then.
but
If this
listen,
is-
but
this is
wait,
a-
I don't wanna be
It
offended
had
about
millions
nothing.
of views.
Wait, let me finish. But then I did some more research and like it was just too much. Like it was just clip upon clip upon clip.
But that's
and
part
on
of
top
that's
that,
part of the strategy is that they will find a million clips that if they cut the beginning and the
Okay,
end,
but
they
look,
can make it look
I'm not done
offensive.
yet. I'm not
but
done yet.
because they want you to say that exact thing that you just
Can I
said,
finish?
which is no. This is very very important. They want you to have that exact reaction. They want you to see a shitload of stuff and say,
Who's
"Listen,
them?"
The people who are putting forth the case that he needs to be canceled. They want
but
you to
I'm not
look
done
at
yet.
all these clips
So
and
do you think he should be canceled?
Just let me get this one point off. They want you to not care about the details of each individual case. They want to create an overall explanation of who he is as a person that will convince you that the individual details don't matter. And yes, I don't think he should be canceled. I think a lot of this stuff was super offensive, but I think it's a very deliberate attempt to obscure what his actual jokes were at that time.
I don't know the full context.
I don't either, but I assume that if he had millions of people watching it, that it couldn't have been that offensive at the time.
But if somebody's acting like they jerking off and tell a picture of my 11-year-old daughter,
I want to see a 2-minute clip. I don't want to see a 2-second clip because I want to know exactly what he was trying to get across there. And maybe it's still super offensive, but the fact that many people saw it at the time and didn't think it was offensive leads me to think that maybe the actual context
but what
wasn't
if
as
the people
offensive.
watching were just like, I don't know, little kids
Why-
that didn't know any better?
Why are people?
It's a concern.
Why
Okay,
are people? Never mind. Go ahead.
Sorry, because you kept cutting me off rudely.
No, but I needed to make a point because you
but
were
let me-
about to just basically say the thing, which is that the details don't matter. The details are the only thing that matters.
I'm trying to get across a point, and
Let's
you're
hear
not
it,
letting me
let's hear it,
finish.
let's hear it.
Is that so? I watched more videos, and when he did blackface, he has a character called Shanae or whatever.
Disgusting.
Disgusting. And he had Shanae merch on his Amazon, and he
Disgusting.
was selling that until like 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Yes. On his Amazon, and then
Fuck that.
apparently
I would like a fact check on
apparently
that.
it's still available on his website. Go check out Choice TV
I
on
feel
YouTube.
like if he would have wanted to distance himself
Listen,
from the blackface thing a long time ago, I don't
Just
know if I
because
believe
somebody's just shedding light on something right now doesn't mean that it's not wrong. Why are people just turning up? People are now giving police brutality the full force that it should have been getting years ago, 50, 60, 70 years ago at the end of the day. Why isn't it not like that now? I mean, why are they just doing this shit now? That doesn't make it less wrong.
Let me just throw this out there. If, let's say that, I'm going to throw a hypothetical situation. Let's say that when I was 15, I had wore blackface, which I have not. But let's say that I did for a costume or whatever. And let's say at that time, I don't even have to be 15. Let's say I was 20. I didn't think it was racist. And nobody around me thought it was racist. And nobody was offended around me. And now it's brought to the table and it said, like, look how offensive this was. But at the time, nobody was offended. Then what does that say?
Me and you would have to get down, but I would say I don't think Adam's a racist.
If it was 20 years ago, that's still to you like if you didn't think it was offensive and nobody around you told you it was offensive.
Listen,
because I think that Shane Dawson was realistically living in a world where he didn't know that blackface was offensive
I'm
because nobody he had all these videos out and nobody told him that.
15-year-old nigga A 15-year-old person knows right from wrong at the end of the day.
You're not even an adult at 15.
At 15, you knew everything that you was doing.
He was
Absolutely not
21
true.
when he made the
That's
video.
ridiculous.
I mean, he 21. That's even worse. He knows
Yeah.
exactly what he's doing.
I don't think so. Do you remember being 21? When
When
I
you're
was 21, I was
15
such
years
a
old.
completely different person.
Okay, but don't you start high school? Aren't you in high school when you're 15?
Yeah.
You're on your way to being an adult in society at the end of
So
the day.
everything that you ever did when you were 15, you're comfortable with people bringing that to the surface now
I'm
and
not-
saying this is who AD
Listen,
is.
I'm not
You're
saying
saying
that.
that
I
you
did-
are the same
I
person that
did
you
no-
are when you're
I
15.
did no racist
I don't
shit.
think you want people
I
applying
did
the
no
same
racist shit, though.
the same logic that you're applying to
I
Shane
did
Dawson.
no racist
You
shit.
would be mortified if people applied
I
that logic
did no
to you.
racist shit.
Why do you have to make it about racism? It could be about anything.
Now listen.
There's things you said about women in your life that if they were put on the big screen right now,
Shit.
and
You don't know
every
what I
single
said? I ain't say shit.
I don't know everything you ever said, but I can assume that you said things about women over the course of your life that if it was put on the news and they were to say, AD said this and the context was removed.
I was raised
the
about women,
context
bro.
was removed
I
and
was
it was
raised-
made to be as offensive as possible. Do you seriously think that that would then be an accurate representation of who you are as a person?
You know who I
20
am.
years ago?
You know who I am, though, bro.
Right.
At the end of the day.
But you're not extending that same sympathy to Shane Dawson.
But she's saying
You don't even know who he is,
Listen,
but I mean, still.
but she's saying that the nigga doing all type of stuff.
What? No, I agree. His humor at the time that he had millions of
It's
fans
like
for
this.
was super offensive, and I
That
agree.
And his apology video, he glossed over a lot of like
I didn't watch the
important
apology,
details.
I'm
There
honest,
you
yeah.
go.
Okay,
There
I'm gonna
you
do
go.
this. I'm gonna
Because
say it like
I've heard
this.
him apologize for this shit so many times that it's like unthinkable to me that he's
But
still
look,
apologizing.
R. Kelly, right? For example, right? R.
boy.
Kelly's a black person, right? Okay. He was getting allegations for years. Once it was shed light on, it's like, okay, 1 is bad, 2 is bad, 3 is bad. Okay, this is disgusting now. When it starts going into the 20s and the 30s, it's like, no, you held responsible for that at the
You're
end of the
talking
day.
about raping children in comparison to making
He's
offensive
playing
jokes in
around about
YouTube
raping
videos.
children.
Yeah, but
That's not cool.
Playing around about raping
Playing
children
around
is
is not
absolutely
cool.
not raping a child. They're
Hey,
incredibly
it's
different
still
things.
Not cool.
Okay, but you're clearly obscuring the actual point here. Is that he was making
get what you're
offensive
saying.
jokes
You're
for
saying that-
millions of people.
Listen, you said 15. She's saying he 21. When you're 21, you know everything that you're doing, right?
I just think that if you made an offensive joke 20 years ago, that you should not be able to be canceled for it.
Is he 20?
In modern
Did he do it
times.
20 years ago?
It was probably 10.
10.
Probably 10.
Okay. And how old was he when he did it?
I don't know. He's
21.
probably 35 now.
Okay, put it this way.
Something
If I do a crime at 21, I'm going to get the same jail amount of time as anybody else that's an adult at the end of the day. So you have to hold me to the same standard. Now, some people's views may change. You just showed me the other day. Somebody had a swastika on their biggest fuck on their chest and they turned it into a black fucking rose, right? Okay.
It's funny because it's like,
This is big.
Why is there a rose this big?
It's this big ass black rose, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Who you was, if you sit there and say right now, listen, this is who I was. This is not how I feel about this right now. At the end of the day, just like I told you earlier.
But this is the question. Do you think that people who did offensive things 10 plus years ago deserve to be canceled and have their entire career taken away from them because they made an offensive joke 10 years ago?
Not. It depends on the context at the end of the day.
Well, now you want context?
No, I'm just saying. That's like right now. If I did something when I was 15 years old, right? If I did something that got brought to light and I'm like, you know what? That's not me at the end of the day. If I'm leaving the same breadcrumb trails multiple times for the same accusations, then that shit ain't cool.
But I mean, in the case of Shane Dawson, he's spent however many years now of being so outwardly making it clear that he disavows. Like he has apologized so many times for those jokes.
If he
has
did
made
it
it
one
so
time.
unbelievably clear. Yes, but you have to understand that the internet in 2010 or earlier was an extremely different place, and there's countless jokes that would fly at the time because again. Millions of people saw these videos and didn't think this stuff was so offensive. The video that horrified the Smith family, millions of people saw.
That's their daughter.
I'm not denying that it's offensive as fuck.
It's offensive as hell.
Again, millions of people saw it and nobody was offended, apparently, at the time.
I will give you this then. Watch this. Justin Bieber, when he said the little N-word song and all type of stuff like that, right? Do I think Justin Bieber is that person right now? No. Should Justin Bieber be canceled for that? I don't think so. You feel me? He seemed like he was a little kid. He was ignorant to the situation at the end of the day. And that's not from him. That's from people around him. He probably thought that was funny at the end of the day. A 21-year-old man, though, the same shit don't apply for that.
How old was Justin Bieber in that clip? He was probably damn.
He probably was 11.
No, he wasn't.
He was a little kid.
Looked like a
He was
little
young,
baby.
but he wasn't that young.
Bro, he was not over 15 years old.
Okay. But I mean, I agree the amount of offensive shit matters. And I agree that the length of time matters. I agree that the age that you were doing it matters. My whole thing, Shane Dawson got famous for that kind of humor, at least initially.
I'm going to give you somebody else. What's the nigga name? Ari Shaffir, who said the terrible shit about Kobe when Kobe died at the end of the day.
Yeah, that was pretty
right?
bad.
He's done a lot of bad shit. He has a shit called Amazing Racist at the end of the day. Like, he's laying the blueprints of what he does and how he feels. And then the fact that when Kobe Bryant dies and it's a fucked up time at the end of the day, you're sitting there saying bad shit about Kobe at the end of the day. Nigga, fuck you.
Yeah, and I heard him try to explain that.
Fuck that nigga.
That's like his thing, is that he likes to go on social media and just have the most offensive opinion.
If I see that nigga walking around LA, I'm going to beat the dog shit out of him.
I mean, I'm not going to lie, but that's a very, very different scenario because that happened a year ago or 6 months ago or however long Kobe died. Like, I totally agree that the Ari Shaffir thing was pretty horrible.
I got Kobe tattooed on my head because I'm standing up for him. Nobody better not say nothing about Kobe.
People
my
were
whole
also
thing-
upset because he was so quick to like have a reaction to Tati's video, but then like hasn't addressed the Smiths at all.
Right. But I mean, the Smiths thing, again,
But the
it's
Smiths
pretty
are not
easy.
wrong for feeling that way.
Wait,
I
but,
agree.
But the thing is that if he made a video explaining that, what's he going to say? He's going to say the same exact shit I'm saying, which is a long time ago, in context, I thought it was funny, I was totally wrong, blah, blah, blah.
I think they're owed an apology
That's what he would
directly.
say. Right. But the thing about
But he should
Tati
reach out to
is
the
that
family and do that.
he feels that Tati is like 100% misrepresenting him, which I don't know if I believe. I'm not sure if I really side with her or James
I don't
Charles.
know
in
who
this
people
whole
is
thing.
anyway, so I don't fucking know. All I'm going by is what you told me and what Cam Girl telling me, and what Cam Girl telling me make it. I'm not fucking with the nigga.
Okay,
kid.
but let's put it this way. Eminem, there's a bunch of different examples
Okay.
of Eminem using the N-word
And
in
how
songs,
many-
saying bad things about black women, etc. He's really, really lucky that stuff came out in like 2003 and
But-
not 2020.
but-
Can you imagine if that came out today?
Look where Eminem is from at the end of the day. And Eminem done put on more black people than a lot of motherfuckers at the end of the day. Do I think Eminem is a racist? No. At the end of the day, do I think Eminem continued to? No, he didn't do no shit like that.
But
This
you
is the
could
same-
use the same logic with James Charles. Is that okay? Yeah, he was making jokes about. I mean, whatever. But I mean, he's
Okay, I'm
Shane
gonna answer
Dawson
this.
has helped a million people with their career. He's definitely done all
A lot of
kinds
black
positive.
people?
Why are we talking about black people? We're talking about him making
because
pedophile
he was
jokes.
acting like jerking off to a black person, 11-year-old
And
black girl at the
was
end of the
doing
day.
black-
But why?
Face.
So he has to do reparations directly to the black
I
community
didn't
because
say
of that
he has
video?
to do reparations at the end of the day.
But what I'm saying is that
the
Shane
same
Dawson has
concept.
made it unbelievably clear
Eminem
that
done
he
helped
is
out a
a
lot of
good
black
person.
people. There wouldn't be a lot of artists today if it wasn't for Eminem bringing them up, and he's still bringing black artists up at the end of the day.
Okay, but I'm saying that Shane Dawson, in his own right, has done the same thing, where he has helped
who?
a shitload of people in
Black
the community.
people?
Why are you making it about black people? You have
Because
to
it
understand
is
how funny
something like
this
that.
is.
It's not funny. I'm telling
Yes,
you
it
the truth.
is. Why
I'm
are you
giving you my
judging?
real opinion.
Why does it only matter if Shane Dawson, who again you don't actually know who he is?
I don't
but
know who he is.
Why does it only matter if he helps black people? If
Because
I say
the
he's
point-
helped a lot of people in
because-
general,
because the people who he hurt,
you get points from being a good
no,
person,
exactly,
not from helping
exactly.
out
the
the
people
specific
listen,
beleaguered
the
group.
people that you brought up, who the people hurt at the end of the day, has helped out the same community that you were talking about.
But there is absolutely no racial context in that video of a Shane Dawson.
But there's
whatever.
other ones where he's
Right.
doing blackface
You're
and
right.
has like
he's blackfacing, he's jerking off to an
There's-
11-year-old girl.
That really, like saying he
But that's
was
what I'm saying. That
but
shit
he
ain't
was
cool.
jerking off to an 11-year-old girl. Makes
He's
it sound
acting
like he
like
was.
he's
He's
insinuating.
gay. He's not jerking
It
off to
doesn't
any
matter.
girls.
Why are you making blackface? Why are you acting like that
But
with
again,
an 11-year-old black
you
girl?
think that anybody who's made offensive jokes deserves to have their entire career wiped out?
No.
But that's what you're saying.
I'm not saying that.
That's
I'm
literally what you're
no,
saying.
No, I'm saying that one time, okay, it may be a mistake.
But so
Two
if you
times, it may be-
make the same joke repeatedly on camera, then that
if
you deserve
keep-
to have your
if
career
you
ruined.
keep doing all of this same type of stuff
But
you're doing,
what you're doing right now is setting up the same hypocritical standard.
It's not
by
hypocritical.
Which, yes, it is.
I
Because
just told you I'm fucking R. Kelly.
you have made jokes in your life. Granted, you
don't
didn't
know
have
what
a
I
YouTube
said.
channel. You didn't have a YouTube channel 10, 15
bro,
years ago.
I've never made a pedophile joke in my life. I stand by that.
You've never made a
I've
joke
never
that would
did
be
that.
offensive if it was
Not no
viewed from an
pedophile shit, that's
outside
different.
context.
Bro, I had my daughter when I was 19
You're
years
lucky
old.
that you didn't have a video, that you didn't have a YouTube channel 15 years ago.
Bro, I never made pedophile jokes, bro.
That's not the question. The question is, have you ever made a joke that if it was removed from the entirety of the context would be viewed as offensive? Yes, you obviously have. We all have.
Let me put it in this perspective for you. When you go to jail, right? In the streets, in the black community, in the Latino community, if you go, no, matter of fact, black, white, it don't matter what fucking color you is. When you go to jail, the worst thing that you can be called in jail is a child predator at the end of the day. If you even play around like that, if you're a child predator, you're going to get fucked in your ass. You're going to get the shit beat out of you. You might get raped and killed when you go to prison at the end of the day. Anybody that has child charges at the end of the day, they have to get put in protective custody so the inmates don't kill them. Okay. So being a nigga from the streets, and when you hear shit like that, that's something that you don't play around with.
But this
I was actually in jail, and I seen somebody. I was actually in jail.
Nobody has accused Shane Dawson of fucking a kid. It's just jokes that he made.
I didn't say fucking a kid. Cam Girl said that he's made plenty jokes like that at the end of the day. So let's say right now, he didn't touch not one kid.
Nobody has ever suggested that he would do that.
Why are you continuing to make the same type of joke?
But why would you not joke around about stuff that is offensive? Like, that fact that he wouldn't do it is probably why he felt comfortable making the joke in the first place.
I don't know, Cub. I don't feel like that was cool.
Well, I don't think anybody thinks it was cool. But it's certainly, at the time, my whole thing, and this is my thing, is that I think it's really disingenuous to take somebody who's pretty clearly made it clear what kind of person they are in modern times and then have to go back 10 years and find offensive jokes they made 10 years ago to now ruin their lives.
How you feel about Bill Cosby?
He's a rapist. He drugged and raped women.
Wait.
Why do you think comparing Shane Dawson, who made a bunch of offensive... Let me say this. Why do you think comparing Shane Dawson, who made a bunch of offensive jokes, to Bill Cosby, who drugged and raped like 80 women?
You're not
How
listening.
is that useful?
You're not
How
listening.
is this useful to compare him to?
You're not listening.
Explain to me how that makes sense.
You just said, your context was... You're going to hold somebody accountable for the same person they was 20 years ago?
Making a bunch of jokes that millions of people watched at that time and thought were funny versus drugging and raping 80 women. You seriously think this is a good point? Recent. And then he got canceled and they got him the fuck out of here. He's in jail.
I'm not saying that it's different at the end of the day. I'm saying that, listen.
It is different. For the
record.
It's very, very, very different.
No.
Unbelievably different.
Of course it's different, 100%. The type of charges are different, but your logic is something somebody did 20 years ago, they shouldn't be held accountable for that. Bill Cosby should be held accountable. R. Kelly should be held accountable. Right. Shane Dawson should be held accountable at the end of the day.
But what does being held accountable look like when you've already apologized for it a million times and it doesn't matter. You were just making jokes. He didn't rape anybody.
It's not no joke.
No, but it was a joke. He was trying to be funny, and apparently people thought it was funny since he had millions of followers.
But Cam Girl just said he's done this plenty times. Just even having a Shanae shirt that you're selling, you're making fun of black culture.
I need a fact check on that because I refuse to believe that he actually was selling this shirt at any moment. Maybe at one point, maybe in 2010. Okay, I believe that.
TV.
I have a hard time believing he's selling that recently.
I want to see that though, but that's because I'm like, listen, this nigga sounds like a piece of shit. Listening to y'all too,
I can confirm that he's a good guy, and I just don't think he deserves to be just to have his entire life. They pulled his books from Amazon because he made some offensive jokes 10 years ago.
Nigga, if you do that to 11-year-old girl, your book should be pulled.
But you're lying about what he did.
I didn't lie and say nothing.
This was the character that he had.
Currently unavailable, but this isn't. I told you. It's not even.
Well, that's not a black person.
It's not even a blackface thing. It's just. It's a white face.
Shanae is a character he played.
I remember when he did the blackface for sure. This is the best shirt I ever worn. That's the first reveal.
Shanae is a character that he was trying to pretend to be like a black.
Shanae is a character from Martin.
I remember, but I mean. You can't really say
the shirt came from him trying to imitate a black woman, right?
But he's not. His skin's not even dark in the shirt. His skin's probably whiter than it is in real life in the shirt.
I think if you watch the videos of him,
I know what you're talking about.
I'm saying would be really bad.
I guess him selling a shirt like that is kind of odd. I wouldn't want to be drawing attention to the blackface I did with a new shirt, even if he doesn't have blackface on in that shirt. Anyway, you're saying he was jerking off to an 11-year-old girl.
No,
why is everybody so dead set on misrepresenting him?
I didn't say that he jerked off.
That I think is so bizarre is that people want to just push a false narrative about him. People want to make it seem so much worse than what he actually did.
How about this? Do you think that he said and done things to the black community, right? Personally, that's offensive. As a black man,
The blackface,
I don't
for
like
sure.
what he doing. I don't like the Shanae shit at the end of the day, or even putting blackface on in the first place. As a black man, that shit is not cool.
What is the appropriate punishment for making an offensive joke 10 years ago that now looks bad?
I need to see, and listen, I don't know all the facts, so I'm not going to sit there and say, crucify this nigga. I ain't going to say all that. I want to see the facts. But based off of what you guys are telling me right now, fuck that nigga. That's how I feel.
That's cool. I just think overall that we need to be, I think society as a whole would do better if they were a bit more sympathetic towards people who had YouTube channels 10 years ago and made jokes.
I just told you today. I said, when Jimmy Kimmel, they said,
But why do you not want Jimmy Kimmel canceled? He wore blackface.
But I don't think that Jimmy Kimmel tried to disrespect black people when he did the blackface at the time.
So okay,
Robert Downey Jr. did blackface.
So you throw the rope to people you like,
No,
and then
it's
you
not.
pull it away from people you don't like. You're judging it by a completely different
I don't
standard.
even know the Sean nigga, bro.
Right, but it makes no sense. Why are
Jimmy
you giving
Kimmel
Jimmy
is not
Kimmel
making,
the rope and pulling it away
because
from
he's
everyone
not
else?
making child predator jokes.
He
nigga.
made tons of offensive jokes. He wore blackface. That's what we're talking about.
Okay, Robert Downey Jr. also did blackface. I watched the movie. I thought it was funny at the time. Tropic Thunder was fucking
Right,
funny.
even you thought it was funny at the time. Why are you so
that's-
not compassionate to Shane Dawson?
Listen, because the nigga did. Oh my god.
Because it makes no sense. You're telling us that you thought it was funny when other people did it,
No.
but then you refuse
I
to
didn't say
acknowledge
that. I didn't
that.
see the Jimmy Kimmel shit. I said when I seen Tropic Thunder, I thought it was funny when Robert Downey Jr.
But
did
so
that.
then what's the
Do
difference
I
between
think
people
Robert
thinking
Downey
that it
Jr.
was
is a
funny for
racist?
Shane
No.
Dawson to wear blackface all those years ago too? What's the difference? There is no difference. There's
Bro,
absolutely
he's
no difference.
acting like he's jerking to a fucking 11-year-old black
No, okay,
girl.
but let's
An
generalize more.
underage black girl.
It was an offensive joke.
It's offensive as fuck.
The blackface that these people wore in this movie that Robert Downey Jr. wore, offensive, right?
I didn't take
What's the
offense to it.
difference?
I
Right, you didn't take offense to it. But
It's
what's the difference? What's the difference? Let's focus on just the blackface.
If you see the movie,
Why do you cancel one person for blackface and not another?
I'm not
Because
canceling
you
it.
like one and you don't like the other.
no, I didn't say cancel Shane Dawson for an old blackface shit he did. I'm saying my whole thing is the child predator shit. I don't fuck with it at all. I don't think nobody that plays around with that should. I mean, I don't feel nobody that does that shit have any merit to say anything. If he just did the blackface shit at the end of the day, I say, you know what? Maybe at the time he was ignorant. He didn't know that shit. The fact that you doing blackface, you're acting like you're jerking off to a black little girl that was 11 years old at the time, and you making Shanae shirts and doing all type of shit.
But
you
so-
really showing you making fun of my people. So fuck you. I'm telling you, that's how I
You're
feel.
making Shane Dawson out to be a fucking Klansman.
I don't know him.
But then why you want to?
I'm talking about based off of what y'all give me
very
about the
little
nigga.
sense to say that you don't know him, but
Off
you
of
do
what-
think
off
he
of
deserves to
what
be
y'all
canceled.
off of what y'all giving me right now, that is my basic assumption right now. That's all I'm saying. I need to see the facts. You don't feel like it's like crazy like that. Cam Girl's like, this is fucking crazy.
I think people need to be more sympathetic towards people who
but
made
I'm
offensive
talking about
jokes
the
over a
difference
decade
of
ago.
fucking the difference of fucking parallels. You guys have difference
I'm
of
asking
opinion.
you guys to question why
you
you're
said
so
fact check.
happy to cancel certain people and not other people when they did exactly the same thing.
And what did I just say?
Because you like one and you don't like the
No,
other.
I said because the child predator shit, I don't fuck with it at all. And I don't
So
think
anybody
nobody
who's ever made a joke about anything like that they can never
If
have a
you
job,
have-
they can never have a career.
Oh my God.
But you don't really believe that. You have to question what beliefs you're putting forth because I know you don't really think that.
Why
Because
I don't
if
feel
you-
like that?
Because if you thought that, then there's so many other people that have made similar
Like who?
jokes. Okay, Biggie said he's going to take your kids and fuck them in the ass and throw them off of the bridge. What's wrong with that? Biggie talked about fucking kids. AD. Biggie
Leave Big out of
wrote
this, nigga.
songs about fucking kids in the ass
leave this-
and then killing them.
Yeah, leave
it's
this
true,
out of
right?
it.
Wait, it's true. It's true.
leave this out of it.
Tell me if I'm wrong.
I didn't hear it.
It's a fact.
I didn't hear it.
I grew up listening to the song. I've heard it in recent times.
Nigga, you don't even listen to R&B. I don't hear you.
I listen to Biggie.
Nah, I don't know.
I think I've officially
R.I.P.
cornered you
Big,
into
leave him
admitting
alone.
that.
No, I didn't hear it, so I'm not gonna take offense to this.
Are
shit.
you fucking kidding me? You never heard "fuck him in the ass" and throw him over the bridge?
Nope.
Biggie said, "I know some real who gonna kidnap kids, fuck him in the ass, throw
He
him over
said
the bridge."
he knows some. He didn't say that he was gonna do it. So you just fucked up what you were supposed to say.
No, I didn't.
He did. Biggie
But
say that he did that.
Why is it okay for Biggie to say that he's friends with a bunch of guys who will rape kids
He
and kill
didn't
them?
say he was present. He says, I know some guys.
I don't remember exactly how it was phrased, but
Did Biggie say that he messed with kids? No.
no. But he
So
said
don't
he's-
lie on Biggie.
But he
then.
said he's got a lot of friends
Do
that will
not
fuck
lie
your
on
kid,
Biggie.
rape
Do
and
not
kill
lie
your
on
babies.
Biggie.
That's not worse than Shane Dawson.
Did Shane Dawson act like and insinuate he was jerking off to an 11-year-old girl? Yes. Did Biggie do anything like that? No. So the point is
No,
stupid.
but he bragged on a record about it.
He said he knows somebody. He knows somebody. It's not the same.
We got to reel it back. But it was a heated conversation.
Jesus Christ.
I think you need to
think
work
you
on your
guys-
compassion.
I think you guys should just
my
agree to
God.
disagree.
We always do this though.
No, agreeing to disagreeing, that would be the worst podcast ever.
I
Me
mean,
and Adam always get into
I don't
it
know
though.
how to wrap this up without saying that.
What?
You guys aren't going to come to terms on feel the same way about this.
That's fine though.
My
Difference of
my
opinion.
opinion is
agree.
that people are being canceled a little too liberally.
And my opinion is people that act like they
You
fucking
think
child
people
predators-
aren't being canceled enough?
We're going back.
More
No, I didn't say.
canceling.
When did I say that?
You want more people canceled.
When did I say that?
I'm gonna go.
When did I
I'm gonna
say
go
that?
to Rap Genius, artist, AD.
When did
I'm
I
gonna
say that?
search
You didn't say
every
that.
offensive word I can find on the AD discography, and we're gonna find some jokes, and then we're gonna cancel you next week. That's my idea.
Don't do that.
You cancel me next week. I'm shooting no
Oh my
jumper
God.
up. There ain't gonna be no podcast.
Anybody
next
who
week.
watches this, hopefully he won't remember to go through and search AD's Twitter and find every offensive joke you can ever find. Let's cancel AD
Twitter.
2020.
Let's cancel me.
Okay.
I don't like
Search
that.
it.
We actually didn't even get to the Tiger story, but I think we're just going to leave that one alone because this is already a long one, right? It's like 2.5 hours.
I don't know.
Me and Adam always
I'm
get into it
hungry.
though.
We have had arguments that were too hot to put on camera. This
Yes.
is nothing in comparison.
No,
Oh,
it's not.
really?
Yes.
I'm glad I was here to witness it.
We get into
the
it.
Adams fucking fighting white and black.
That was racist. You're canceled.
White and black Adam.
You better capitalize black.
Oh my god.
Hey, look. Hey, well, listen. This is the thing. I am not ignorant to people's opinions. At the end of the day, Adam, where he comes from, is a totally different place where I'm from. All I can do is try to show him where I'm coming from with my thinking. That is it.
I understand.
I know he's a good guy. I fuck with him. I wouldn't be here if I didn't think he was a good
We
guy.
come from two different perspectives. We have but that is one thing I will say I really like about AD is we have intense fucking arguments, and then it just goes back to normal after. Which there are people in my life who I love to argue. Like I love to have
know
a
you love to
vigorous
argue.
debate, but I have a lot of people in my life who, if you have a vigorous debate about something, that to them is basically like you
you
attacking them, and like you're not cool after that. And to me, it's like no, we picked something, we argued about it, and then once we're done discussing that thing, everything goes back to normal. And not a lot of people get down like that.
Because I'm from the streets. I got down. We get down with all of our homeboys. Like we really beat the shit out of each other. We hug afterwards. We shake hands. That's homies. That's brotherhood.
I
I look
respect
at you
that,
like
man.
a homie and brotherhood. We can have a heated debate. You feel me?
Yeah, because you
And
don't
we can
want to
shake.
fight
And we
me.
can shake hands.
You might not show up to Muay Thai the next day. Pow! This has been the No Jumper Show. Shout out to AD for filling it. House phone's at home, like, oh, I wish I was the one having that conversation.
House phone ain't gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Nah, I think he would have laid down at a certain point. It would have been a little bit more agreeable. It wouldn't have gotten to such a pitch.
I'm just saying, you know me, bro. I can have a heated conversation with you without you getting offended and I'm getting offended.
I'm just saying-
I'm not gonna leave here and be like, fuck that nigga.
Elephant
Adam.
in the
You know what I'm
room,
saying?
as
The
somebody
elephant in the
who's-
room, they call me elephant.
You
in the
are the
room.
elephant in the room. But also, the other elephant in the room is that Adam 22 has been accused of a whole bunch of shit and had a whole lot of
And
jokes.
what have I said?
But a whole
What
lot
have I
of
said
jokes
publicly?
that I made then characterized as me literally thinking those things.
What's the first thing I did when people were sitting there hitting me up saying, Adam is this, Adam is this, Adam is this? What did your boy AD do? I tweeted, Adam is not no racist. And he ain't got no racist bone in his body.
My guy.
You feel what I'm saying? Because that's how I honestly feel. You feel what I'm saying? He has a lot of black people. We just had a black girl come over here and try for a new position at the end of the day. So Adam actually, he helps us. And I say that shit all the time. Look,
He helps us.
but
He's so happy right now.
I know he's
Why?
happy. But I tell him this
Look
shit
at
all the
you.
time.
No, I mean, to me, honestly, it's
For the
weird
record.
because I know it's like super corny when people say, I don't see color. But like, I've never hired anyone because they were black, or I've never like hired anyone for any racial reasons ever. It's kind of strange to me.
I don't
that'd
see
be-
color either. I
to
treat everybody the
I
same.
don't want to think about the world that way.
I see everybody the fucking same. It don't matter if you're black, white, gay, straight, whatever the fuck the situation may be. I judge people on who they are as people at the end of the day. Because there ain't shit people in every category if we get down to that shit. I know you personally. I fuck with you personally, and I know your heart at the end of the day. Your energy doesn't strike me as being a bad guy or down with whatever at the end of the day. You feel me? I wouldn't be here if I thought that was the situation. So
appreciate
that's
that.
all I'm saying.
Let's stomp out racism 2020, guys.
Let's do it,
Fuck
nigga.
racism.
Let's do it. We got Korean girls, we got black dudes, white dudes. Yeah, his shirt, fuck racism.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck racism.
That's an interesting shirt from Empire.
And by the way,
Who's the money going to from that? I wonder.
you donated money
Can you let him in?
donated money to the fund.
But also, I lived downtown for all those years. I don't think I ever gave a motherfucker change.
But at the end of the day, me and you off camera, we have certain topics that me and you talk about and we bump heads about at the end of the day. And it's all only because, listen, if you were born, right? I'm just gonna give an example. If you were born, your family were white supremacists and they didn't like black people, they didn't like black people, they didn't like black people, and you was bred to like that, to be like that at the end of the day, that is not, I can understand that. If you come from two different sides of the spectrum, I know you growing up, you probably didn't have a lot of black people in your community, right?
Largely, yes. Nashua.
Okay,
not
so
fine.
there's probably a lot of people that played around and said black shit and all type of stuff at the end of the day, right? When you were growing up at the end of the day. Now that you're in hip hop and you meet people, you meet niggas like me where you like, hey, I like AD, that's my guy at the end of the day, right? The same way that people are, like you said, back then, I'm not gonna judge you or I'm not gonna judge other people off of that shit. But when you reach a certain age, certain shit don't fly. And if it happens one time, you can be forgiven for something one time, as long as it's not just drastically. But when you do something 2, 3, 4, 5, that's like I said, R. Kelly.
But what if the thing didn't seem offensive at the time and then it seems offensive in 2020?
Okay, look, and you're right about that.
Because let's face it,
Shit.
society's standards have changed
Okay.
a fuckload.
I just finished watching The Office, right? And they talking about bringing The Office back. And Michael says, Steve Carell, he says, I don't think that we can bring it back because he don't want to water down what they did. And a lot of the jokes that they made would be offensive now. A lot of the jokes on The Office today would be considered offensive. Now,
it's kind of shocking that nobody wore blackface on The Office. They did like 10 seasons and nobody ever wore blackface.
kind of did.
Wait, did they?
Dwight did something similar, but he didn't put on blackface. He was another character. But that was a thing back then. In 2020, nobody should be wearing blackface.
No.
Nobody.
Just because it's so obvious what's going to happen to your
That's
career.
like in
if you do that.
2022. No one should be making gay jokes in 2020. Nobody should be making child predator things in 2020. Nobody should be wearing blackface. Nobody should be making racing
I
comments in
agree.
2020.
The question is just how we judge people who did so in 2010, even if they've given us many reasons to believe
but
that they are
social
not
media
that person,
was
you know?
not prominent back then.
I know.
Now
So everything that's
is,
old is new.
Now everything that's in your face, people are being held accountable for it.
Yeah. I just think people deserve to be, I think people should be a little bit more compassionate before they just really want to ruin somebody's life over some shit that was considered an acceptable joke 10 years ago. Hey, this has been another episode of the No Jumper Show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you want to support, like, comment, subscribe, and go to nojumper.com. Get yourself a kendama or a t-shirt or something. Appreciate y'all.